My intimacy addiction is ruining my life. I 24 have been diagnosed with compulsive intimate behavior. I see people online saying they have hypersexuality but they never dive deep into what it actually is. Up until a few months ago I couldn't get stuff done, I couldn't do things I like and I couldn't keep stable relationships because I feared I might cheat on them. I self-pleasured constantly, I watched a ton of PH and at that point it's almost all I thought about. I am a software engineer and while I'm doing my work is the only time I don't think about it. I like my job but for a while my addiction had been seeping into my work too. I almost got caught self-pleasuring in the bathroom. I've most likely have had intimacy with over 100 people. It makes me feel disgusting and unlovable. Though no one would be able to tell because of how plain I act. I'm seen as a very dry person with a monotone voice. Though as of late I have been watching this girl. She hangs out with my roommate/friend often. She came into my room once after mistaking it for my roommate's. She took some socks from my drawer when I caught her. For context, my roommate dropped juice on her and it soaked into her socks. She's really sweet and has been making a lot of effort to try and get to know me. Even baking me sweets and randomly talking to me when she comes over. I really like her and have been thinking of her nonstop. I want to ask her out, but there is no reason to. I'd mess it up. So it motivated me to try to get some help. I'm doing the therapy, doing the program, participating in groups and have been medicated. I've been doing this for 6 months. It's been absolutely unaliving me. I'm really trying. I asked my therapist if maybe I should attempt to ask the girl out and she told me it'd be a bad idea and if it went south it could make me rebound. Now I just found out that some guy likes her and now I'm afraid of losing her. I've been keeping her close to me this whole time to keep some type of relationship with her. It's unaliving me because my illness only has a 5% recovery rate. Though I feel like I truly am getting better, my self-pleasure amount has gone down significantly, my libido has definitely been lowered too, most likely because of the meds. I just want to ask her out but my therapist told me I need to stop using her emotive because it's a danger to my recovery. Maybe I do but I just wish I didn't have this. I'm probably shortening this situation a lot but it is, a lot. So it's only been about a month since I made my last post but something scary happened 2 weeks ago and I don't know whether to think this is a bad thing yet. Backstory for those who don't want to read my last post but I have an intimacy addiction. I have been working at recovery for about 7 months. So far 4 months without a hookup and 2 months without watching intimate videos. I only started doing this because I feel in love with a girl but knew I'd never be able to have a relationship with her if I stayed like this. Though as advised in my last post I should change my goal and I have. Though I am still good friends with the girl. Anyway, I had 2 best friends. The friend in question who I'm extremely upset at and has been my friend since I was 13. Let's call this friend John. John has been one of my most trusted friends and recently I have been in a rut and thought maybe having some support from a friend would help. So I told John everything. John from what I saw took it well and offered his ear whenever I would need it. I also told him I've slept with other 100 people. Which was the only thing I could visibly see that off-put him. I told him I just wanted my life back on track so I could be normal and get to the true place I wanted in my field of work. This is where the problem happens. A few days later I go and hang out with him, my roommate and the rest of the group. This group includes the girl who I will call Katie. Katie has been giving me weird looks the whole time I was there and is avoiding talking to me. I go to my roommate and ask if Katie is okay and he just gives me this look of sadness. He brings me into a room away from everyone and tells me that John told everyone including Katie about my intimacy addiction and how I've slept with over 100 people. How I am disgusting and even almost got caught jerking it at my job. He also failed to tell them I was getting intensive help for my issues but what he did tell them was that I had a major crush on Katie and have been self-pleasuring to her Instagram photos. Which I certainly did not, I'd never violate her like that. He also told them not to tell me because we shouldn't shame him for his mental illness. I get upset and tell my roommate that yes I do have an intimacy addiction and that yes I did almost get caught trying to self-pleasure at my job but I never self-pleasured to any photos of Katie and I'm getting intensive help with my issues. I also told him I've been taking Prozac which has to be honest lowered my libido by a lot in the last coming weeks. I've been getting help for 7 months. He tells me that he believes me, and I thought wow I thought he'd think I was lying. He dropped another bomb on me saying that John has a huge crush on Katie and probably did this to hurt my reputation with her. That he has lived with me long enough to know I wasn't that bad and how he didn't trust John after the way he exposed my stuff like that to the whole group. He asked if he'd help me tell her what happened. He asked John if he could go out and get some beer for us and John asked me if I'd like to go. Holding back all my hatred I told him in a calm voice no thanks. He leaves and I walk into roommate's room. My roommate asks Katie to go speak to him for a moment. She says sure and opens the door to my roommate's room to see me. She gives me an extremely disgusted face which to be honest really hurt me. My roommate tells her that John lied to her. About what I did and likes her and that's why he tried to ruin my reputation. She is obviously shocked about this. Then after some more explanation and reasoning from my roommate, apologizes for assuming I was a creep with an intimacy addiction. To which I had to prematurely explain to her that yes I did. I asked the roommate to leave the room for a bit. He does so and closes the door. Katie looks at me and apologizes again for assuming I would do that to her. I told her there was no need and people are sick like that. It's not her fault for protecting herself. I then explained that I do have an intimacy addiction and have been working on progressing to my recovery for 7 months. That I did have intimacy with over 100 people and that I did have a crush on her. I didn't tell her that she was my goal, I didn't want to put any more weight on her that I already have. I told her I wanted to ask her out and realized it would never work because of my issues and how it had got me thinking on how I can't live a normal life in general. How I felt like I'd lose the best job I've ever had if this kept up. She completely understood and thanked me for being honest. She told me she actually did have a crush on me, but once John lied to her she got creeped out. I asked her if she was being truthful about liking me. She told me she was being serious. She told me it wouldn't be right to date right now because of what's going on with me, and I agreed. Though she said if I do hit a good recovery point that she would love to go out on a date. I agreed. I don't know if she'll actually wait for me to recover, but it is a nice thought. I will not be rushing my recovery though, I want to be cured sustainably. So we come out. John isn't back yet, but my roommate has explained to our group of friends of John's lie. Some of them still gave me grossed out faces when finding out about my issue, but the others were very supportive. When John walked in, all hell broke loose. Katie was screaming at him about how he could betray his friend in need like that. How he was disgusting and selfish and she would never want to be with someone like him. My roommate laid into him too and told him he wasn't welcome in his apartment anymore. My other friends who were there also cast him off. It feels like my support group has grown from 1 to 7. Though losing a lifelong friend is definitely hurting me. My other best friend who was friends with both me and John has also cut John off. Apparently John has done something similar to this to him. Just got gaslighted into thinking it was justified. I also have a plant now, it's a bonsai tree. It's thriving and so am I. I hung out with Katie recently, that was nice. It's nice to be able to be around people. Since this happened about 2 weeks ago, things are still a bit awkward. John has consistently been leaving me nasty messages, but oh well. I'm still extremely worried though about the future, especially because my business was just thrown out there by someone who was supposed to be my best friend. Hopefully everything goes well. I just looked at his messages out of curiosity. So I'm bisexual and he knows that. He's just calling me the F slur and calling me a thief. How I'll cheat on her once we start dating. How I should just stick to men and stop being greedy, because what woman would love me? I kind of didn't want to block him in hopes of him apologizing and maybe to talk it out. Nope. I blocked him on everything and just sent his messages to the group chat I have with my roommate and Katie. They are currently clowning him.